Oh, all right. We will call our meeting to order and welcome everyone. I would like to make an announcement, though, and we have refreshments here because we would like to give George a little recognition anyway. He has certainly been a wonderful board member, and it's going to be a loss that you stepped down. I hope you're going to come to our meetings once in a while and keep us honest. So, you're going to watch on TV, huh? Thank you, George. And the refreshments are really in your honor, and Barry's if he were here, but because Barry is not also, has not chosen to reapply for, to be reappointed. So again, thank you. And you have a wealth of wisdom that you always are willing to share with us about things, and that is going to be sorely missed. So I hope you are around still and will still get benefit somewhat from all of your wisdom. Really, I'm sincere about that.
I would just like me to do an announcement. I'd just like to address the seniors, reminisce a couple minutes there.
Okay. I'm done with my announcement. It was really just to explain what's here. There are drinks over here. We were all here when we were asked not to have bottles on the table because of the microphones. So please feel free to get up, come over. Guests, you're welcome to, there's extra plates and things, come over and help yourself. As the meeting goes on, we're just going to have this available, okay? And Jean's just reminding me, and she has to leave today at 2:30 because of an obligation she has. So don't panic if she gets up and walks out and wonder why she's leaving. It isn't anything we said.
We need to change the agenda order
So,
to get votes in while we still
that's
have a
right.
quorum.
Yes, and we do have a quorum now, but when she leaves, we might have a problem. So we might move things around. We'll have to, and I would welcome your help if I miss something. So thank you. Before I turn it over to George, any other announcements? You're on.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I just wanted to thank the board, past members and current members, for all the work and support that they've done here in terms of supporting the seniors here in Littleton. That's always been this goal, this board goal, was to take their issues and work with them and bring it to the town, and we've done that as a board. I've been 1/8, 1/9, 1/10, 1/11 of the board because we've been short of members here and there, and everybody has always kicked in. And it's been a dedicated bunch of people here that represented you, and also going forth with the selectmen and asking the selectmen to support issues that we thought that was important. So I just want to say to you that you has been the reason why I have always worked so hard and advocated for you here in the town of Littleton, because I think there are a great bunch of people in this town. And I think that the senior board has always been a dedicated bunch of people with 25, 30, I don't know how many years Mary Kay had, but she was a beginner on this board. And these people have given a good portion of their life to serving the people here in Littleton. And most of all, I want to thank the Friends. Back when Janice Nowinski was the director, she did a lot of collaboration, and she liked that word collaboration, getting everybody involved. And she sort of kind of changed things because she wanted people to come out to the center. And she bonded with Barbara McCrae in supporting, and Gail, the diner manager down there, and started changing, bringing different programs in. And it was a great job, and it was a good thing, and I was glad to see more people come out. And I just want to take my hat off to the Friends, because they have certainly been instrumental in supporting a lot of these, well, a good majority of the activities that you've been associated with here. So I just want to thank everybody and thank you for letting me be a representative for you here in the town of Littleton. God bless you.
As I said, we'll miss you, George, and hope that you continue, though, to contribute when you have the time and you're able to, so in some way. All right. Moving on, I think we should accept the minutes. Let's take a look at that. We have the minutes you have them in your packet from the May 11th meeting. You've also had them online. So do we have any corrections or changes that need to be made? And if not, can we vote?
Motion, we accept them.
I second it.
Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? I think no, none. Okay. And we realized in reviewing the minutes and reviewing what happened at the May 11th meeting that we did not accept the reports. We did not vote to accept the reports that we heard at the May 11th meeting. So we'd like to correct that by voting to accept the reports from the May 11th meeting now, if that's okay.
Make a motion, we accept.
So moved.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay. Let's take a look at the, agenda, though, and see if we need to move things around a little. Why don't we just do that right away before we run into problems? If you don't mind, friends, I'm kind of just holding.
No problem.
You're on, next on the agenda, but if we can do that. So, obviously, under new business, the nominating committee and the election of officers has to take place then, because we need to vote on that. And C, voting to hold have no board meeting in July. And then again, voting on recommendations to the Board of Selectmen for reappointments. I'm thinking if it's okay with everyone that we move the new business up. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you need to do it, because I might have to leave early, too. Round
You
up.
are too. Yeah, well, that's even more reason why we need to, yeah, let's attend to it. I think, though, we can probably hold until we hear from the Friends. Would that be okay? Do you want to do that? And we put them on the agenda so they can get to speak in case they have things they have to go to, or how are you situated today?
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine?
We could,
Can you wait a little?
if you would like it, we will.
Well, we could do it right after the new business, if that's all right with you. Thank you. Thanks for being flexible. All right, so, under new business,
Well, we did easy ones first.
the easy ones first?
July,
Oh,
and
no.
Recommendations.
Okay, we're going to do, that's a good idea. Let's do C, vote to hold no board meeting in July. We have historically done that, so, George, or...
I make a motion that we hold no board meeting in July.
Thank you kindly.
Second.
And a second, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Are we going in August?
Nice try.
All right. And then voting on the recommendations to the Board of Selectmen for reappointments. The Board of Selectmen have requested that the council, get them or present to them a statement about whether or not we're supporting reappointments to the board, all right? So their board meeting is tonight. They are having their meeting and they're voting on appointments tonight. So it's critically important that we get this done and give it to Jennifer so she has it, so that she can make copies and get it in their packets for their meeting tonight. That's why this is a little urgent. So I have the letter here that we've prepared in advance, hoping that doesn't need to be changed. And it says, "We have 3 Council on Aging board members who are eligible for reappointment to the COA board this year. Barry, Marge Payne, and George Sanders. George and Barry have both tendered their resignations effective June 30th, 2015. We thank them for their service. Marge Payne has been actively involved in board work, serving on subcommittees and presiding as chairman. Well, for several years. I've done both for several years, right? She currently holds the position of chair. And it
Marge
says...
didn't write that part.
I didn't write
That's
it.
from the old letter.
Marge has the full support of the COA board by vote today, which we need to address. By vote, June 8th, 2015, for her reappointment. So this is a letter just saying that you will support me in my application for reappointment.
I make a motion that we,
Excuse me, George.
oh, good.
Who was the third person?
Barry,
Barry.
Harry is not, okay, George is not, and then what,
I'm the third.
oh, you're, okay.
And I obviously need to, I did submit an application. I am going to the Board of Selectmen's meeting tonight. I have been called and asked to be there, so I will be there.
Well,
So,
I support you.
thank you.
Well, can you move to support it?
I think George did. He was trying to, anyway. He's been trying
Still need a
to. so-
second.
Yeah, I was making a motion that we recommend to the Board of Selectmen the reappointment of the chair. Yes.
Jean's going to second. Patty seconded too, or Pat, yes, you did. So, thank you kindly. All right. So,
Need a vote.
oh, yes, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. She could have the letter now, and Pam will deliver it, so we get that piece of business taken care of. All right. So, I think we're ready to hear the slate of nominees from the nominating committee.
Okay. The nominating committee consisted of Susan Dunn, Barbara Cam, and myself. And on May 29th, the nominating committee contacted all of the board members, advising them of the need to present a slate of officers at the annual June meeting. The board was requested to submit names and/or volunteer themselves for the position of chair, vice chair, and/or secretary by May 29th. Following that date, a member of the committee would contact all nominees to ascertain their willingness to accept said position. On June 4th, after hearing from only 3 people on the board, another notice was sent out to the board members, giving everyone one more opportunity to submit nominations. And no further nominations were received at that time. That was only 36% of the board who decided to submit or nominate somebody or volunteer themselves. So we didn't get a huge response to our notification. But anyway, in conclusion, the nomination committee received the following. For the position of chair, Marjorie Payne's name was submitted. For position of vice chair, Mary Patty Hunt and Chris Simone's name were submitted. And for the position of secretary, Bob Stetson's name was submitted, and he also volunteered himself. Each individual was then contacted to determine their willingness to accept the position they were nominated for. Marjorie Payne responded yes to continue as chair. Chris Simone decided at this point in time not to accept the vice chair position. Mary Patty Hunt responded yes to accept the position of vice chair for 1 year. And Robert Stetson responded yes to continue as secretary. So your slate of officers are Marjorie Payne, chair, Patty Hunt, vice chair, Robert Stetson, secretary. And this is respectfully submitted by your nominating committee.
Thank you kindly.
And there's your
Thank you,
report.
nominating committee, for doing that job, too. It is
Not
appreciated.
the easiest task in the world when you don't get any responses. But,
Oh, well, Jean responded twice, she just said, so that should count for something.
Right, so.
Thank
anyway,
you.
there you go.
Thank you kindly.
I don't know whether anybody on the board wants to submit anybody today, but that's what we got.
Does anyone have any additional thoughts, names?
No.
No? Are we set to go then? Yep, to vote. You have to actually take a vote, I think, and elect officers, so. Would someone like to make a motion that the,
I would move that the nominating committee's names for each of the 3 officers be elected as presented.
Are you seconding?
Yeah.
Is that what the hand means?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Talking hand.
Just say, I second.
I second.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? All right. I think we took care of, do we have anything else we have to vote on that you're aware of?
We can do the Friends, and then we'll talk about the kitchen.
That's, okay. So that's what I was thinking about doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Friends, we got through that right away, so you're on.
Thank you, thank you. The first thing coming up right now is on Wednesday this week. We're having a Second Chance fashion show, and it'll be in the multi-purpose room here in the building at 1 o'clock. And of course, it'll be closed from the thrift shop. Surprise. So we're getting ready for that. And then Nancy, I'd like you to talk about what else is happening.
The first program that we have coming up, our board will not be meeting July and August, Bob. You want
Sorry?
to? Our board will not be meeting July and August. So the first major function that we have afterwards is what we discussed last time. We are having the barbecue at Kimball's. It's a barbecue and ice cream social. It's going to be in your July-August bulletin. The barbecue is fantastic. They even have things for vegetarians. Then they have an ice cream social. And we're asking that people contribute $5. It's costing a lot more than $5, but this is to help a little bit with the cost. Kimball's gave us an excellent plan. This will not include any of their rides or golf, anything like that. It's just for the barbecue and ice cream social.
I wanted to do the bumper boats.
We will have a tent, and there'll be parking people in the back. So we'll have signs letting everyone know. You're not going to park in front, you're going to park towards the back, kind of like what we did the last ice cream social. And it's going to be to celebrate the Friends' 25th anniversary.
The silver, huh?
When is this?
When is this? It's
September 9th.
It's a Wednesday. 12 o'clock to noon, noon
It's after
to
Labor
2.
Day.
And if people, they will have golf carts with their drivers in it if some of our seniors need assistance, so they don't have to walk.
We will have tickets for it, and they'll be in the thrift shop. It'll be in the newsletter, what's happening with that. We'll have a paper to sign in the thrift shop and to pay the $5. And you'll also get a little flyer with all the information on it.
We're going to ask for your name and phone number just in case something happens that we need to contact you. But it's rain or shine.
When is that going to be available in the thrift shop?
After the newsletter comes out, we didn't want to get it in before that,
So I would say the end of June.
1st of July.
What's this?
Tickets will be in
Oh,
the thrift
tickets.
shop.
And you have to have your ticket, don't lose it.
I think that's about it.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah.
I need to, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to actually make an apology and backtrack a little because I didn't introduce Marcia Russell and the rest of you who are guests, and I overlooked that. So, Marcia, welcome. Glad you're here. And I apologize. I should have done that in the very beginning of the meeting, so all of a sudden...
As long as it's not late for dinner.
So, and welcome Barbara and Nancy as well. So thank you. It's nice that the Friends are so reliable and always attend our meetings and give us the feedback. So thanks. All right. Any questions for them, for the Friends? Sounds like a great day, that event at Kimball's. So,
In a hurry, you can make a half an hour.
Oh, gee. Are we out to set a record here today? So, okay. Would anybody like to get up and get a drink or anything? We're not pressed for time. I think we're doing well, really well. So, please, would you like something?
No.
No?
Thank you.
Okay. Then we will go back to the old business. We're really jumping around a little, but old business, update on the kitchen project. And
So, Madam Chair, the latest news, I talked to Joe Clintrell this morning. The project is going to go out for rebid. They discovered that there was an error in the publication when it was bid the first time. So it's going to have to go out for rebid. I believe he said late next week is the publication date for that. And then it's just like the first time, 2 weeks for the bids to come in, then they'll open the bids, make a decision, PMBC will vote to accept a contractor, and then we'll have a start date.
They've got some arms to twist to try and get some bids.
Well, the error that was made in the publication was in the pricing, and they think that that's why they didn't get any more than one bid, because it was off by a factor of 10, which is a lot. Keith has asked that I ask you to affirm your support of the kitchen project. And it's written here in your agenda that you affirm remaining in town hall with Council on Aging. He's very sensitive to the idea. He does not want to put $140,000 or $150,000 into a new kitchen if we have intentions of leaving and going someplace else.
I move that we affirm the importance of the kitchen to our nutrition and social programs, and that the COA board affirms their commitment to the COA remaining in the town hall.
I second it.
all right, discussion.
Was there something that came up about us saying we was gonna relocate or something?
I believe Keith had heard some discussion to that effect. I assured him that it did not come from the board, but he would like a vote.
And it's a long-term thing.
Oh, yes, Barbara.
I'm afraid that maybe Keith heard that from the Friends, because we are saving money, and we were always saying that we were saving it for a senior center. But I had a meeting with Keith, and I explained what we meant about that, and that was, yes, we would love to have a new senior center, but we know in our lifetime that's not going to happen. But that if, in fact, we were
Maybe not
given,
in yours.
if we were given another piece of the building, and I think everybody knows where I mean, we would use our money to renovate that. And he explained to me how much money that would cost, and I said then we would be able to do that. So he understood that we want a new senior center, but he also understood that we meant us, even if it was in this building, we would be happy to. But I don't want to go into the kitchen thing about that. Renovations would be to rooms and furniture that, if it was
Right.
So it
part
sounds,
of our senior center.
it sounds like you're talking more about an expansion of space in the present, at Shattuck Street here,
Yeah, and
To-
he understood that.
to, accommodate seniors and to improve things immensely. And that's why, the kitchen, though, is so critically important.
Yes.
Because we would need that kitchen, and we need to get it up and running and up to code. So, yes, George?
Madam Chair, to the director, did Keith address any of the situation that came up on the last bidding with the amount of money? If this goes back out and it comes back in with more money than what they program, are we at a threshold that is going to be put on hold? Or are they going to?
Not going to be put on hold. I met with the PMBC last Wednesday night, and Keith told Joe Clintrell, who's the chair of the PMBC, and me, that they would be going to FinCom if we needed additional money.
Don't push it, George, he said yes.
Keith is very much in support of this, and he wants us to remain in this building and to use that kitchen. He understands how important that is to our nutrition program and to our social programs, how frequently it gets used for special presentations and things. And he's very much in support of that, but he would like to hear from this board. Now, I know we talked about this a couple of years ago.
yeah.
He'd like to hear from the current sitting board that you are in support of staying in this building, at least through the, whatever the
Next period
lifetime
of time.
of the kitchen renovation would be.
Yeah.
I'll call a question, let's vote.
Excuse me.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Would he be interested in receiving a signed letter from this board?
He
wants to see the
He wants
vote.
a vote of our
Vote.
commission.
That's sufficient. He had asked me to go back and see if you had a recent vote in the minutes. I didn't find a recent one. I had to go back 2 years. But the board has changed membership to some degree.
Okay.
That's the reason for the vote. yeah.
Now you're calling the question? Are everybody happy with that, okay with that? Okay. So, all of the, we need to have somebody make a motion.
We already
I
had
did.
a motion.
And it's-
I'm sorry, you're right, and we're doing discussion. Thank you, George. I don't know what I'm going to do without you. I really don't.
We're voting to affirm the importance of the
Right.
kitchen in our nutrition and social programs, and that the COA board affirms the commitment of the COA remaining in the town hall.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Oh, so we have a unanimous vote, we can tell Keith. There we go.
That will make him happy.
Yes. So, okay. We might be setting a record, Bob. You might be right.
After the reports, I bet.
No, oh, you can slow it down then. Okay, moving on. Update on the needs assessment project.
So I passed out to everyone a copy of the director's report. And if you turn to that and you look at the bottom of page 3 and page 4, you'll see that there's a lengthy written update. Keith had asked for this for the selectmen. Just to review, last year at this time, the selectmen made one of their 8 goals to improve services to seniors and to provide senior tax relief in town, or to at least begin to address the issue of senior tax relief. And it was from that we approached the Board of Selectmen and talked about funding the needs assessment, which we had been working on for about a year, but realized was out of the scope of what we could afford. So Keith asked for this update because the selectmen are going to again be reviewing their goals and are looking for progress against those goals. So this is a summary of all the work that has happened to date, which I thought would be good for you to all have in your packets. Talks about the work that was done, the focus groups, work was done with the subcommittee to pull together the survey. In fact, the survey went out. The work by the town clerk to get us the census rolls and all of that. As things stand right now, there were just a little over 3,600 surveys that were mailed. When last I asked Jan Munchler, Dr. Munchler, about this, which would have been last Thursday, they had received about 1,000 back. That's about a 30% return rate. They were very happy with that. To put that in perspective for you, I met with a representative from the China 15 group, the Health Network Initiative group, and she said that Acton recently did a survey and they received 800 and they were ecstatic at receiving that many. Acton's much bigger than we are, so for us to receive 1,000 is a substantially higher rate of return, which I think is
Amen.
really good. Again, I have to say, I am so glad that we got professionals to do this because they knew how to do it. They sent out that postcard that alerted everybody. They sent the survey. They sent the follow-up postcard, which they got more people who then said, oh, I forgot, oh, I lost mine, what have you. And so I think they got a better response because of that. Still trying to find out how many Groton got back out of their town census, but they haven't been forthcoming with the information. So going forward, the timeline on this is they are now starting to put the data together. They will have some preliminary findings probably around the end of July. The intention is to have the final report prepared by the end of August and to be ready for the selectmen in early September. Which timing-wise, I think is great timing if you think of if there was anything we wanted to take to the special town meeting in terms of asking for funding to support any efforts. Of course, of the information that's going to come back on this survey, some of it is not going to really fall on us. There's going to be, I think, some great housing information. And we've talked at length about how transportation is probably going to morph into more of a town-wide initiative and not just rest on our shoulders in the future.
I think we've been blessed here in this town, too, in that town officials like Tim Goddard at town meeting supported in getting the word out about the assessment, the needs assessment, encouraging people to respond. So, all of that has helped, and it's been great that they've all supported us as much as they have. They really have done a great job.
And I have to thank the selectmen for having the
Right.
vision to give us the $35,000, which is not a small sum of money, to really determine what needs to happen, as opposed to maybe just throwing a small amount of money at us for some kind of a program or something. I think they really are trying to work cooperatively with us and in an interdepartmental and intercollaborative way to improve services. We did take 2 items at the fall town meeting forward about senior tax relief. Remember, we asked them to raise from 20% increase to 50% increase all the personal exemptions. And we also asked for those changes in the tax deferral. And if I change hats now and I put on my Board of Assessors hat, we have had people coming into the assessor's office asking about the deferral program. So certainly,
That's great.
If not the fact that it's just more attractive, just the publicity, I think is attracting more interest from people who really should seriously be thinking of it as an option. I'm sorry
Yes,
Chris
George.
isn't here, because I
Oh.
know this is a special interest area
Right.
of his, to talk about further efforts that we might make.
Well, maybe we can get some information from him later. George,
Yeah,
yes.
I just wanted to comment with regards to the selectmen versus the seniors in the town of Littleton. Since I first arrived in this town, which was in '97, I've always found the selectmen's to really to support the seniors wholeheartedly in this town with just about almost any request that really comes before that board. And I think that's an exception for a board that gives out money to a small portion of the population there. And I think that the things that they've done, along with the town administrator, Keith, really has been instrumental. And Bonnie Houston has been instrumental in coming up with the money, finding the money to give to the seniors for a lot of these programs, even on the increase from 20 to 50% on the exemption there. That's a nice little chunk of money. When you have a small town, $5,000 is important, So I think that we owe them a debt of gratitude with regards to what they've done in terms of caring for the seniors here in Littleton.
Madam
Yes.
Chair. George, I really agree with you on that, and I want to take this moment, since we are on the air, to call out how much the town has helped us in just the last year. Monetarily, the town has really come through for us. I don't want people to forget that the town agreed to fund 10 more hours for our outreach worker. That was significant, because that's a yearly operational expense that they are pledging to do. It's not a one-time, that's an ongoing thing. They have pledged $140,000 to get our kitchen up to code and make it work better for us. They gave us $35,000 for our needs assessment, so that we can help to figure out where best to spend the limited money that we do have in our regular budget. They gave us $16,000 this year for transportation, and they did that by taking all of my salary and funding it through the regular town budget. And I think sometimes people forget some of that because they maybe it's hidden or they don't see it. But the town really has contributed a considerable amount of additional money to us over the last year and a half. So I thank you for pointing that out, George, and giving me the chance to coattail on that with some real figures. Thank you.
It is easy to forget. Time goes by and you just kind of lose track of things, but we certainly have been fortunate. So. All right. Questions on any of this, especially the needs assessment on Pam's? We've kind of slipped into her report. We have not officially doing reports right now, but anything about the needs assessment? I still find that very exciting. It'd be very interesting to get the
I
feedback.
thought it was really good. My post card came after I sent my survey back.
Oh, really? Well,
That cracked post office.
yeah,
Right, it was right on schedule.
but we've been fortunate, and I hope they continue to get a few more. They'll straggle in, perhaps a few more responses, but, no.
Anecdotally, I've heard from some people that they found it very thought-provoking, the questions that were asked.
They what?
They found it very thought-provoking, the questions that were asked.
That's interesting. That is. Wow. Okay. Any more discussion on needs assessment?
Well, the
Where we
last thing
stand
I
on
should
that?
say is anyone who did not receive their needs assessment or who has lost their needs assessment, all you have to do is call the office. We can give you a number to call, and they can make arrangements for you to get one.
Yes. Don't be left out.
Don't be left out.
Don't be left out. You need to speak up if you didn't get it. It's not too late. You can fill it out now and get it in. All right. Are we ready to move on to the reports? Anybody have anything else? George?
Yeah, can we skip down to the director's report and let her finish up what she was doing on the report there?
The director's report? Sure. That's fine with me. Everybody else okay with that? Okay.
So, pretty much talked about the needs assessment. It didn't seem like there were any questions about that. The kitchen project, we have successfully transitioned the lunch program and the Meals on Wheels program down to 19 Shattuck. Again, my thanks to Lisa Larrabee for making that space available to us. It has been extremely convenient for us. The Littleton Social Club, our pre-dementia group, can just walk right down there at lunchtime. The weather has been very cooperative. Thank you, Noah. Gail says that it's working out very well. She's getting some drop-ins, people from 19 Shattuck who never came for the lunch program. So she's starting to pick up some extra people. She's also getting people who drop in who are surprised to find out that that room exists. And that
Wow.
there's a kitchen adjacent to it, which
Oh, my
I think
goodness.
is pretty funny. These are
Wow.
people who live in the complex. I did meet with the PMBC last Wednesday night, and they had discussed this possibility of the rebidding. And then Joe did call me this morning to tell me that when they went over the bid, that they realized that there were these errors in it. That was part of the process in deciding whether to rebid. They were also talking to the one contractor who did put in a bid. The one bid that was put in was $157,000, which was about $17,000 over what we had. The consensus of the PMBC at their meeting was that there was fluff in there. But then again, I'm sure when they talked to the guy, and he said, well, $40,000 was ridiculous. I guess it all kind of started to come into perspective, and then they went back and looked at the documents and realized there were some errors there. Prior to that, Keith Bergman, town administrator, Joe Calintro, chairman of the PMBC, and I went to the Friends to ask them if they could see a way to contribute, and they were not able to fulfill that request. Transportation appeal is continuing. Oh, any other questions about the kitchen? Okay, transportation appeal is continuing. Right now, we've got about $3,600. I met with a representative from the Rotary. They're pledging another $500. So it's coming in kind of in dribs and drabs. And we have not done the appeal to businesses yet. So we haven't heard from them. And when we do that, I'm sure we'll get another bump
Do we know exactly or approximately what the deficit is going to be?
This year, we are going to come out okay because of the additional 16,000 that they gave us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's been quite some wrangling with MART. MART is being extremely uncooperative. Their latest thing is they don't want to pay for dispatch. And I've got Keith and Bonnie working that issue because I don't understand where they're coming from at all. They paid last year.
But they've been paying it for years.
They've been paying it for years.
Yeah.
First they said they didn't want to pay it at all, then they started quibbling about the amount. No, I have them here. Something missing? I'm sorry.
They're not getting the fringe benefit of it. That's what it's about.
I think that
Probably.
may be part of it. I'm not sure what's going on. We've had some back and forth, and I think that we're going to be all set. This year, I think we're going to just come out about even in terms of driver wages being covered by the 68,000. Again, it was made very, very clear, though, in all of these discussions, that we can only bill MART 68,000. Anything above that we bill is going to come back dollar for dollar on the cherry sheet. So Bonnie and Keith, again, to help us out, they've agreed to absorb all the expenses above 68,000. So they're paying for the fuel.
Wow.
So, we bill them driver salaries, we can bill them fuel. They're paying for any of the fuel that's above 68,000, and there's quite a bit of money tied up in fuel, as you can imagine, with the number of miles that we put on these vehicles. They're absorbing the cost now of our cell phones. We don't have to call that out separately.
That's why.
Alan's
I'm
covering
getting
that.
bills.
We still obviously are paying out of our van fund for repairs.
And we have a fund to do that.
We do have the fund to do that, and that's part of what we're replenishing with the money that we're bringing in the transportation appeal, but I'd like to get enough money so we can consider doing additional transportation with perhaps a third vehicle, especially if we can get it donated. I am working right now on a grant from Minuteman Senior Services, specifically for transportation for adult day health programs. They accepted our letter of intent, and they did offer us the RFP, which that's a good sign. And we'll see what happens with that. That'd be a $10,000 grant.
Speaking of grants, do we have anybody in the Cummings Foundation, or does Cummings have any buildings in Littleton? They just gave $100,000 to Westford because they're giving out money out of their foundation for all the towns in which they are situated. I don't know anything about it. I just read it in the paper, but I said, wow, and I didn't know, what the story was.
I'll see if I can find out.
But that was a nice hunk for them, going to the senior center.
Yeah, Westford's lucky they've got so much commercial stuff.
Question, on the grant, I remember before that, we had talked about getting a grant writer, that we was trying to, somebody that located somebody
Oh,
that did grants there, writing.
Yeah, I had a
and-
senior tax worker for a while who was helping with grants.
Oh,
She wasn't able to secure anything for us.
oh, okay.
Is she going to be on the tax program next year, as far as you know?
I don't know. She kept talking about moving to New Hampshire.
Oh, okay.
So,
but this might be an opportune time to get the word out, since we are televised too, that if there is someone out there that, you don't have to be a senior to come forward to help seniors, and so if there is someone out there that, has knowledge of and experience in writing grants and has some time to help us, we would love it.
How you write it is often as important as the grant itself.
Correct, yeah,
absolutely. That's one of the things that she did talk to me about,
yeah.
is the importance of the, having to match your wording to what they were looking for. Speaking of senior tax workers, the senior tax work-off program sign-up period will be not the first week of July, because that's got the 4th of July in it, but the 2nd and the 3rd weeks of July. So Monday the 6th through the end of that week, it will be in the mornings, and the week of the 13th, it'll be in the afternoons up on the 2nd floor in the COA area. And I included in the report a little bit of information, because I just finished doing the payroll for the senior tax work-off program, and pulling together all of the timesheets. We had 95 properties enrolled this year. There was a total of 113 workers that came out of that, because for some properties there were 2 people. And I listed out the departments that benefited from senior tax workers. It's quite a long list. And many of those are departments that have people come back year after year, which I think says something about the mutual benefit aspect of it. They wouldn't ask people back to the dance if they didn't feel like it was worthwhile for them.
The assessors really appreciate the fact of people coming to file. They hate to file.
They hate to file, and they're overwhelmed with paper. Department of Revenue continues to have a lot of things remain on paper for them. I've included the usual statistics about programs and things, and rides. Rides are down a little bit, which is to be expected in summertime while people are away. Again, cancellations run high, which is more burden on dispatch than on us. No-shows are just the same as rides to us, because that means we literally went to their house and they weren't available, or changed their minds, or didn't want to go. Respectfully submitted.
Wow. I'm just like your fun fact.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes,
So
I like that.
My fun fact was, I was digging around looking for something in the filing cabinet, and I came across a MART report from December of 2006. And that month, we gave 136 rides.
Can you imagine that?
We did 435 rides this last month, and we've been above 500 several times during the last year. So,
It's pretty evident transportation is a big need.
yes. Yeah. And it's the big invisible need. It supports so many other things that people want to do.
Thank you. Any questions for Pam? George was the one that wanted to have your report finished, but anyway, he's not here at the moment, so.
He's on the phone.
He is, yeah. But we can maybe slide into the budget, the monthly reports on the budget. Well, he's out, and if he has anything, we can, I'm flexible, we can
So
always
they were all
go back to
distributed
it.
in advance.
Right. Any questions on the budget reports? I think that's great, though, that the transportation is working out for you, as it's so, for this year, pretty much.
We're literally squeaking by.
Well, that's okay. We'll squeak.
16,000 was huge.
Yep.
Sucked it up in a minute.
Any questions about this? Anything you want to add, Bob, about the budget? He kind of is the
Well,
person that understands it, I think, more so than anybody else on the
for a budget
board.
report, you can look, you have the
Yep.
what we have in the, well, everything looks pretty good. We've run over on a couple of, in the office budget, we've run over a couple of things. Recreation services, we might want to adjust the budget itself for next year to reflect more closely, but obviously, other things have been so far under. Remaining balances are the last row, and we have all those left with only 1 month to go. So it looks as though we should be fine with the total budget, not any problem at all with that. And then, of course, the March budget is the same thing. We're doing very well. Anybody got some questions?
I move we accept the reports.
You
We
just
got-
need to first.
Yeah, we have to finish
The
them.
outreach coordinator.
There's more reports. There's more.
The outreach coordinator and then the senior dime.
Okay, we're going to vote on all of them at once.
We'll vote
If-
all together.
Okay. All right, Tina. You're on. Thank you. It's always good to hear from you, too, to know.
Thank you.
It is, it really is, because it's good information.
Well, we pretty much we're closing with the fuel assistance program, the SMOC, and we're working on some appeals now. And on the back side of your paper, I copied some numbers from Littleton and the SMOC fuel assistance program. and there are at 95 SMOC-assisted fuel assistance clients in town. Now, that doesn't include the Good Neighbor Energy Fund from the Salvation Army, which was about 8 or 9, and there also were Cooper funds, which I have to double check that number, but I believe it was around 10 or 11 added to that. This month, we finished up the year with the help of Barbara Cam, coordinating the intergenerational program with the students from the CASE Collaborative, so I want to thank her for doing that in my absence, and it went well. It was a nice program. And we're also, this Saturday, the Council of Churches put together a program where they're doing some yard work for Littleton residents in need from 9 to 12. Then the following week, or the week of June 22nd, we have the Catholic Heart Work Camp coming, and we have 10 applicants that completed applications and went and assessed to see that they'll be having those teams of 5 or 6 coming to their home Monday through Thursday, the week of June 22nd.
And that church program is a new program.
Yeah, the Council of Church program is a new program, and I went to add a late referral, and I was so pleased to hear that they said they were going to squeeze this one in because they were at capacity. So I think that worked out good for them, because I was telling them it might take 2 to 3 years for a program like that to catch on. And she said that the one I was adding late was, they were going to squeeze it into the
I know.
schedule.
Very good for the churches and very good for the
For the
town.
recipients, yeah, in
Yep.
the town.
And
it's-
in Tina's credit, I should point out that this started with Joan Castanado, wasn't it?
Castanego, yes.
Castanego. She came to us originally because the churches were, the council was sitting around, they were trying to come up with a project. And she met with Tina and met with me, and Tina suggested the Catholic Heart Work Camp model because they had some constraints. They did not want to go into homes, they didn't want to have to do quarries, so they had to work outside. And then the more we talked it over with them, the more interested she was, and when she went back to the council and presented it, they thought it was a great idea. And so Tina has really helped them to figure out the bits and pieces of things that they need to work out, like how do you dispose of materials, the whole idea of going and visiting the sites and sizing them up and all of that.
Yeah, well, that was, they had that idea in for seeing them first, which I thought was great. So, it does help so much than to just show up the day with a couple of rakes and not knowing how big the job is. But
Right.
I was glad that they had that right from the beginning. They had known that they needed to do that. That's why they asked for such an early date on getting the information, the names.
They did a very good job of contacting the churches and well ahead of time, so that
Yeah.
the churches had a chance to pull together a team and say, yeah, we will be there, and, what we can do and what we can't do.
And they, with time to get the word out in the churches too, because I know we've heard about it a lot, so.
Yeah, it seems like I've heard about it,
Yeah.
quite a bit too, that they really did a good job advertising.
So we're hoping
So-
this will continue.
Yeah.
year after
Hopefully,
year.
yes, it would be great, I think.
Some people were hoping, they like to see yard work for themselves like earlier in May, but with this winter the way it was, some of them were like, yeah, the snow just melted, June 13th will be fine for getting our spring cleaning done.
Yeah.
So, but that's it, unless anyone has any questions.
That's great. Fuel assistance program, it's amazing to see the data here on the back, I think. It's interesting to see that
Did you see Maynard?
Maynard, I looked at them all, I was glancing at them,
Maynard
yes.
had
68,
only 68, and we had more than Maynard.
wow.
People think that there's not much need in Littleton. This is a very strict program. Bob knows how strict the guidelines are for income on the SMOC program, and we had 95 people that qualified.
And I have 2 other pages of data on different towns if you want. We just thought it was most important to give you a snapshot of Littleton with some of the other towns that were on that particular page.
And I will be attending the formula grant training session with Emmett in about a week. And I'm hoping then to find out how much we're going to be receiving. There's been discussion that it might be bumped up another $1 a head for seniors, which would be another $1,800 for us. And usually by the time we get, that I deliberately went to one of the later trainings so that we'd be closer to July 1st, and you may be able to give us a feel for that. I'll let you know.
A little bit helps.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Barbara, how are things going?
How's the diner, Barbara?
Yes, how's the
Things
diner?
going
What's happening
fine.
over there?
Things going fine. I have something I want to give out. Gail had this week, and I thought it was important that everybody should read it. And I have one for everybody. It came from Minuteman, and Minuteman, in this district, would you like a copy back there?
I would.
Won a $10,000 prize. Out of all the Meals on Wheels businesses in the country,
Thank you.
Bedford Minuteman came in first.
Wow.
And it was because of, well, this is really very interesting to read. And I've added down here, Gail told me, I asked Gail how they raised their money, Minuteman in Bedford, raised money and the things that they did for the seniors in order to win this prize. And those are some of the things listed there. It's Meals on Wheels America. It's evidently the umbrella organization for all the Meals on Wheels businesses, I'll call them, in all over the country. And Minuteman, our Minuteman, is in Bedford, headquartered in Bedford, and they, where did I do with that map? They have many towns in this area.
There's 13 or 14.
13 or 14 towns in this district, and with all this fundraising they did from all those districts, it all went into Bedford and the Meals on Wheels program, and they won first prize of $10,000, which was a wonderful thing.
That speaks pretty darn highly, I think, of them, yeah.
So I just thought this was important for everybody.
That's quite a
to,
place they have, isn't that
read.
where we went to a,
Say,
I went
would
to
you
a
put
seminar
one
or
on
something?
Mary's there?
Yeah, we actually
And-
had
Oh,
one at
yes.
Middlesex
Susan.
Community College, but they were right in that neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Not far from there at
Okay.
all. Yeah.
This is for Chris.
Oh, no, that's
Chris,
right,
I
you went
guess
there
he's the
too.
only one.
Yeah, we did,
We
yes,
did. We
yes.
went both places.
I had trouble finding it, I remember,
You
but I
got it?
found it.
Yes, I got
Yeah,
one.
okay.
Finally.
Wow, that's really amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
It
Yeah, it's
really is. I
great.
think, we don't know too much about, we just hear Meals on Wheels,
Right.
where does it come from? Who
Yeah,
cooks it? A little man in the back
But
kitchen?
they recognized Minuteman Senior Services in the whole nation.
I
They
know.
called them out for a platinum award,
Right.
top of the,
As number
of
one.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
wow. And it says right here, for its extensive awareness and fundraising activities in Bedford, Mass. That's where they're located.
And what they do.
Wow.
And I guess the whole grant program from Meals on Wheels America came from Subaru Car Company, who, I guess all over the country, every car they sold in the month of March, they gave $250 to this program,
Wow.
Meals On. And that's where that whatever, 300,000 almost, came from Subaru car dealerships.
That announced in the ads. It was on television in the
Yeah.
ads.
So,
They would announce it.
so the Bedford, our area, Whole Foods grocery store gave 4%.
I saw that.
proceeds
Isn't that
for the
wonderful?
month of March. So,
That's a pretty, that's a good-sized Whole Foods store there in
so if
Bedford.
we can,
Very
if we
active.
can all remember, next March, when, when we had a special spaghetti dinner this year for $5.
I didn't realize that's what it was for.
That money, well, it goes to Meals on Wheels, so what do you know? What
Yeah,
else do you
yeah.
know? So now
The
we
pennies, they
know,
were
so that we
collecting
can,
Barbara, weren't they
make-
also collecting the pennies for Meals on Wheels?
Yes,
during month of
the
March?
coin collecting there, that's on the table for the month of March, for loose change, and that all goes into this fundraising. So we can make more people aware of that dinner and just kind of, add a little bit to it.
Stay us more about the need for the kitchen. It just goes back into that all the time, doesn't it? We gotta get that
Right.
kitchen fixed. Yeah. It would be dreadful.
I move the reports be accepted as provided.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, any discussion about that, or anybody comfortable with it? All right, all those in favor? And anybody opposed? No? Unanimous? Okay, and we have to obviously table the senior communications with Mary being out, not here today, so. Does,
We adjourn at 2:30, which is exactly 1 hour after we started.
and I think it's a record for me, I know, or at least for this year, that I've been doing it, so. Thank you all for helping to make it possible. And it was because you were leaving, right, Gina's leaving at 2:30. So, great, thank you all.
Wait for them.
Yep.
Did you get a copy of
And you
that?
gave Jennifer, I think that's, that